my god, it's Jason Bourne. Welcome to Fight Scene Friday, the show where we analyse your favourite fight scenes from the movie and television world. My name's Asten, Regis, and today's show we're going to be looking at the Bourne versus Desh fight scene from the Bourne Ultimatum. That Bourne series, it's one of my favourite movie trilogies of all time. Absolutely blown away by what Matt Damon did on this film, and obviously his partnership with Paul Greengrass in the Bourne Supremacy and now the Bourne Ultimatum. The Bourne Identity was fantastic as well, but the fight scenes just went up and up and up and up a level. Bourne is very efficient. Everything around him is a weapon, and that's what's so great about him. You never need to see him with a knife, or you see him with firearms, but you never really see him use them as much, and you don't see him using knives and things like that. But you always see the person he's fighting, they always manage to pull a blade or something deadly. It's usually a knife that they've got in the hand-to-hand combat situation. And they always start off with a gun as well, and it's always disabled in one way or the other. And with this fight, you see Bourne First he uses some kind of Moroccan ashtray, because they're in Morocco, this fight scene's happening, to disable Desh. And then he gets a book, smashing it into Desh's neck. And I thought that was a really good use of a book, knowledge is power, you know what I mean? Just the fact that he's able to use his surroundings, and the fact that he's able to use his everyday objects as deadly weapons, things that the normal person won't necessarily know to use as a deadly weapon. He's able to use them efficiently, whether it's a roll-up magazine, whether it's a pen, or whether it's a book. And Desh, being the assassin that he is, obviously he's here to kill. I think obviously Bourne's going to kill Desh, but that's not his aim. He's not trying to kill. He wants to be left alone. He's trying to do what he's trying to do. He's trying to discover who he is. He's not trying to kill Desh. He's not the one being hunted. He's not the one hunting. He's the one being hunted. You see with the assassin, he goes straight for the deadly weapon. And I think this is good story, character through story. Obviously, the only way Bourne's going to stop him is by killing him. But Desh, when they go into the bathroom, first thing he sees is the razor blade, and he goes straight for that. First thing Bourne sees is the towel, gets the towel, and he's able to defend against the blade, and then use it as a deadly weapon to strangle Desh. And this is something that Jackie Chan kind of made very famous in his movies, was using the environment and using the everyday items in the environment as weapons. But for me, what that tells you, that action, that character through action, what it tells me about Bourne is he's very efficient. He's always thinking steps ahead. He's always seeing where the exit is. He's always sizing up his opponents. He's always sizing up his environment, the people in his environment, and what he can use as a weapon if he needs to survive. Again, all the fight scenes in the Bourne saga really demonstrate that with Jason Bourne. And I absolutely love this fight scene. It was very, very well done. Jeff Umana, he did the fight choreography, and they use a lot of Filipino Kali, otherwise known as a screamer or arnis, which is a system of fighting which utilizes stick fighting, knife fighting, and hand-to-hand combat, close quarter combat. It's taught to a lot of law enforcement and military people. A lot of these people learn this kind of martial art, and something I studied for a few years as well. And it's very efficient. It's very much about getting the job done. Doug Lineman, who directed the first one, the Bourne Identity, said that when he saw a demonstration of Kali, he decided that that's how Jason Bourne was going to be. He saw how efficient Kali was, how deadly and efficient it was, and how it doesn't waste energy. It's about just finishing off your opponent. And Jason Bourne was going to have that mindset from Kali. And again, they've brought that into his character throughout the movies. Obviously, these are based on books, but there's been slightly changed for the movie world. And I absolutely love that. And you can absolutely see that in Jason Bourne's character. With Jason Bourne, that he's very efficient, just like the Kali system. And you see how he's able to disable his opponents using everyday objects, using his initiative, and that the weapon isn't really the weapon is him. He's the weapon. And I feel like The fact that what most normal people would see as a pen, he sees as a knife. What most people would see as a towel, he sees as a rope able to strangle his opponent. So, what most people see as a book, he sees it as an impact weapon to, choke his enemy, or to use as an impact weapon to enhance his strike to his opponent's throat. And these story points in the fight are very important. They tell you something about the resourcefulness of Jason Bourne. And I thought it was brilliant. I think it's so brilliantly done. And Joey Ansah, who plays Desh, he's a great martial artist from the UK. He did a series called Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. I'm sure many Street Fighter fans have seen that series. It's so brilliantly done. You can check it out on Netflix. It's done as an entire movie. I think it was a 12-part series that came on YouTube, but if you blend it together, it's one whole movie, and it's really worth watching. He directed and co-wrote that series, and he also played Akuma in that series. So he's a very well-trained martial artist. He's been doing martial arts since he was a young child. He studied many different martial arts, including ninjutsu. And you could see the skill level of Desh in this fight. He performs, Jason Bourne gets him in a wrist lock, and he's able to perform very acrobatic no-hand cartwheel to get out of it. And that's from Joey's background in tricking. So he has a background in tricking, which is martial arts with a lot of gymnastics. And he's got that kind of background, which is fantastic to see kind of brought into this fight, but not in a kind of too extravagant way. It felt very practical within the kind of domestic violence situation that this fight takes place. And in that moment where he was in that wrist lock, he had enough space in that living room to do that no-handed cartwheel escape from the wrist lock. But yeah, it's a fantastic fight scene. Absolutely love it. It upped the game in Hollywood. Again, the Bourne series upped the game in Hollywood in terms of fight scenes for its time. I believe this Bourne Ultimatum movie was released in 2007, and at that time, again, from 2003 to 2007, when the Bourne trilogy, the first part of the Bourne trilogy started, you never really saw this kind of level of martial arts in Hollywood in terms of using this style. It had been used a couple of times. There's a really good film with Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones called The Hunted, which they also utilize some Filipino knife fighting, Kali Eskrima, Arnis stuff in that movie. It's not as mainstream as the Bourne series, so what I'm saying is that the Bourne series really mainstreamed that Kali system in Hollywood, and now you see it a lot more in a lot of films, and it looks great. And it was a departure from the whole Hong Kong kung fu, wire fu thing that The Matrix made popular, and all these movies started doing it. It made sense in The Matrix, but in films like Charlie's Angels and all these other films that came out, it just looked silly. And what I felt that the Bourne movie franchise did was they thought about having martial arts action in our action movies is a popular thing right now, but how can we utilize a martial art that makes sense to the character? And this is always what I talk about, and this is really what this series is about. It's about seeing the character through action and the reason why they're fighting the way they are, and using the martial arts that they are. And I thought that the Bourne series really showed that fantastically with Jason Bourne, and this fight is so worth watching. If you haven't seen the fight, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can check out the film if you're interested. Love the film. Check it out for this fight scene alone anyway, it's so good. Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this fight. What was your favorite Jason Bourne fight in the whole franchise, including the latest film that they did, the Jason Bourne film? There is a good fight in that film as well. What was your favorite one? For me, it was this one. I love this fight scene. Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, I'll see you next Friday for another Fight Scene Friday. Peace!